Hello. You find yourself in the late evening. There's something energetic in the air, wouldn't you say? It's hard to sleep when it's like this. Your camp is up on a bluff, and you can see, far to the north, a faint yellow glow on the horizon. A city. Arabella is perhaps one day away if you hurry. From up here, you can see the faint glow over the horizon toward Evening Star to the west. And you see the moon reflecting off of what must be the northern fingers of the Wyvern Water to the east. If this land could talk, it would tell you that you are in its heart. Perhaps now would be a good time to take stock of things. There are two major powers operating in the region: the Flaming Fist, a paramilitary organization headquartered in Baldur's Gate on the Sword Coast, eager to stake a claim inward and seize the lucrative trade routes here in central Faerun. Their intrusion is opposed by the Kingdom of Cormyr, a greatly weakened militaristic dynasty currently undergoing a coup. Their nationalistic queen seeks to rapidly retake the historical borders of her country. The fist may be stretched thin out here, but the kingdom is little more than a tattered banner, and the wind is picking up. But where do you stand with these powers? Well, looking north along the road, you gaze toward the dominion of the Fist. Certainly the Flaming Fist will kill you on sight if they find you, and they have at least 4,000 soldiers in this region. You have a betrayer in your ranks, and you killed 5 Flaming Fist soldiers in Arabel, one of them an officer. There must be a bounty on your heads. Looking southward down the road, you can imagine the Dragon Knights thundering down the road. They will certainly kill you if they see you. They have 400 heavy cavalry, talented professional soldiers. Your disagreements with the Dragon Knights are well in the realm of immediate deadly violence. Both of these threads are beyond repair. There are other forces in the realms. Far to the northwest, the Zent remain hostile. Possibilities of diplomacy, subterfuge, or infiltration were snuffed out with the High Priestess. There is another team of operatives supposedly following a similar mission to yours. They are out there somewhere, and they may be one of the few bridges that you have yet to fully burn. Not to mention, you have heard that a small and focused group of people can change history. Good luck with that. You have set up a watch order. First, Brenner Oswick and Nothing Gold have a project to work on. Next up in your watch order is Ada Worthware, and finally, Taldred Talton. Lissa Gastmere, Ada Worthware, Yoris Thanalian, and Taldred Talton. You are asleep in individual bedrolls. Here in the basin, between the storm horns and the sea, dry autumns give way to wet and drab winters. Temperatures tonight have dropped into a deep chill, and you can see your breath as you find a comfortable position there in your bedroll. Brenner and Nothing Gold, you can hear crickets and cicadas. The cloudless sky has given way to a brilliant moon, casting this quiet glade with the light of an operating theater. You have between the two of you a heartwood acorn. Brenner, you have a shoulder joint that is little more than an irregular surface where your joint once was. You get the impression that there are a few ways to execute on this. It is such that part of the appeal of magic for you, Nothing Gold, is that it is a highly personable and customizable experience. You sense that you may have a bit of latitude on your implementation. Even here, at the end of days, you remember that it is simply fun to be an artificer. Besides, this task is not so grim. Your friend needs your help. Either way, time to get started with your little hopeful acorn. What's the worst that could happen? Vines rising from Brenner's body that strangle him as he sleeps? Probably best to keep that image out of your mind, little dryad. You could nudge this acorn's direction into that of a grasping vine, which you think may help him hold objects better. With a grasping vine, he could certainly cut his own steak. On the other hand, you can imagine a heartwood branch. With a heartwood branch, he may be less dexterous, but the structure of the heartwood would make his arm unbelievably strong and tough. Either way, this is merely the start of the process, and you understand that all plants and all projects take time. The actions with the party.
Brenner,
Yep.
what do you like best about your body? Pretending, of course, you still, yes, had everything.
Yeah, being whole was the first of my priority. I don't know. It's gotten me this far. I'm tough. 44 years old. Stabbed a number of times. I'm tough. So,
Your
yeah,
ability
that's-
to take pain, you enjoy that?
I'm more happy that I'm alive, more than taking the pain.
Well, you are alive now.
This is true. Not whole, though.
Alright, maybe a different angle. What do you value? Resilience aside.
In context of me, right?
You know, imagine somebody's painting your portrait, right? What sort of air would you like to give off? What would you have people surmise about you?
I thought it would come across pretty straightforward, but square jaw, leader man, up front.
You don't like mystery.
I don't find the point in lying. Subterfuge is left to people that are better at it. I'm here to... I caught myself in my own lie. I lie to everybody that's underneath me. I tell them they're gonna come home. I tell them they're gonna come home whole. So maybe I don't like that part about myself.
That's not so much a lie as it is a wish, but you don't consider yourself hopeful?
Thinly veiled. At this point, you've painted more portraits of me than I have. I'll leave it to your discretion. I already asked you what you thought of me, and you told me I'm a shield, not a sword. So I value that.
I think it's dangerous to let somebody else tell you who you are.
Yeah.
But I understand that we have a bond, and to some extent, it is towards you that I grow, and by
Sorry, Discord crash. Please
No
continue.
worry.
after all, one doesn't continually put themselves in the way of pain without enjoying it just a little, right?
I'd be lying if that wasn't true.
Alright, well, hold still. I don't know what this is going to feel like.
Probably unpleasant.
And she will opt for the root of the heartwood branch.
The acorn settles in, and within seconds, it sets little roots that anchor to your skin, Brenner, as it seems to plan its little future as a part of you. It's itchy.
Doesn't hurt so much as it itches.
Well, any wound stitching itself closed is going to feel that way, but I believe the normal things will help you. Sunlight, adequate hydration, nutrients.
Guess I'm a gardener now, too. Thank you.
Well, you always were in terms of your little sprout followers, right?
Yeah, I guess that's some way of looking at it. You should probably keep an eye on it either way.
Absolutely.
Either way, we probably have hoofbeats behind us. We shouldn't tarry too long on keeping a lookout.
I mean, I don't think people even wanted to really stop tonight, but the alternative was just passing out face down on the road.
You're not wrong. Brenner will try to position himself off of the rock into more of a visible place towards the south, if that's possible.
It is. There's a small bluff here. You can look southward, aiming yourself down the road to see if anyone's coming. Is your chief goal to see if anyone's coming up the road, you'll be able to detect them?
Correct, yeah. He's posting a watch, mostly for the Black Dragon Knights if they're heading out early, trying to find a scouting party if they were going to catch up.
Roll insight at advantage.
14 total.
You said 14?
Correct, yeah.
It's almost too quiet, Brenner. You would expect, at the very least, local traffic. Someone, right? Even someone riding home drunk from the tavern. There's nothing. No one on the road. But your watch passes completely uneventfully.
I think the notion of this sproutling growing on his shoulder is kind of intermixed with the anxiety of no one being on the road, and he's really not sure how to make it. Who is next up in line? Is Ada? He'll nudge Ada awake from the shoulder.
My turn already.
Long night. Roads are dead.
Not long enough.
I don't like it either way.
I will get up. Where did we come in?
From the south, that's right.
So this east road is probably where we, rode whatever horses we didn't ride in.
Correct. Yeah, so you came south along this same road earlier, but then you had a horse. Now you're coming back north entirely on foot.
Yeah, we left the cart at the gate. The only mount we have right now is my elk that's running around the glade random.
I will post myself in a tree with my back against this rock, looking the direction we came from.
And Brenner and Nothing Gold, you hand off your watch and go to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think assuming that the cicadas have continued uninterrupted, NG seems far less worried than Brenner.
They do. You have the healthy song of insects. You can tell that you're staying in a glade with an untold number of small creatures. It does bring you peace. Ada Worthware. You find yourself alone in the night. Just you and these cicadas. Euros is softly snoring. A few minutes ago, you saw a little white-tailed deer briskly walking along the tree line. It feels nice to be awake right now. Nothing is worse than trying to sleep when you were angry, so maybe it's better that you took a watch. You can imagine a little adamantine box where the Eye of Vecna is looking at you from within its narrow dimensions. Okay, let's try thinking about something else, shall we? Something is different tonight, Ada. You cannot help but notice the luminosity of the moon. It's intense. There's a feeling of change in the air tonight. As an optional reaction, here under the night sky, you may speculate about which lamp is now unburning. Something has changed in the realm of magic tonight as a result of the actions of the party. Should you succeed in identifying what this effect was, you may gain a powerful insight into the magical world when it truly matters. Should you fail, You may find yourself misled, and you will be purposefully deceived by your own misinterpretations of the world. You will not be informed if your answer is correct or not. Care to delve, Ada?
The question is, we've changed something in the world, and what was it?
Correct. In the realm of magic, yes. It corresponds specifically to something has changed in the realm of magic here.
I think I'll be looking at the moon and realizing something's different, and feeling as if Shar's presence in the magical realm is somewhat diminished as a result.
Noted. The action is with
Shadow
you.
weave type thoughts. The action's with me. I will probably stargaze for a bit.
The stars gaze back at you, Ada.
Is there anything happening around me or in the campsite?
You gaze around the campsite. You see Gastmere roll over in her sleep.
We don't have any lights lit, correct? Like there's no fire burning.
No. No cooking was done, no fire was lit.
So it's just low light vision. Okay. I will uncomfortably gaze out to the sky. I don't think I dare to study my book tonight.
It is such that the rest of your watch passes uneventfully. Any further actions? Still mulling it over?
No more actions for me. I think I'll let my watch pass uneventfully.
As you wish.
I believe that the next in the order was Taldred. Whether or not that's correct, I will be waking Taldred up. I will walk up and put my hand heavily on Taldred's arm. I assume he's a side sleeper.
No, on his back, actually. Sleeps on his back.
Then I will, like, grab your bicep, like squeeze it a bit.
Taldred starts a little bit. Already?
Fortunately.
Alright. Taldred gets up.
Ada goes to sleep.
I goes to sleep.
Taldred Talton. Final watch. This is a nice one. Last watch is the best, isn't it? It starts with the moon and it ends with sunrise. Who are these people who volunteer for the middle watch? Well, someone has to buy cleric in a can, I suppose. It is such that you find yourself in the night by yourself. The moon seems particularly luminous, and there is not a cloud in the sky. Really, that moon seems bright tonight. The entire landscape before you is lit with a brilliant white light. The action is with you, Taldred.
Taldred is going to move to a spot, kind of find like a tree or something where he can keep an eye on pretty much the whole party. And while he's sitting there, he's going to cast Commune as a ritual.
You cast Commune as a ritual.
I wanted to interrupt and say really quickly that the lunar lilies that NG has, I think they're kept in a side pocket, and so it's totally okay if Taldred grabs one to help with his commune.
Would Taldred know that, though?
I think they're poking out, like you can imagine a bundle of flowers.
But Taldred is already on the NG shit list, and he knows that, and he's definitely not gonna go do that.
Fair.
Taldred, 5 minutes into your commune as a ritual, something unexpected happens. You hear something, a clear voice in your head. Not one syllable, not one word, a voice like someone's talking to you, like it's all perfectly normal. You hear a voice say, Taldred, I'm at a party at Larrell's right now, but I guess I could talk for a minute.
What? What? Taldred's looking around, confused.
You see the night sky.
Who is this?
Who do you think it is, Taldred?
Does he know? Like, considering the communication he's had, is this Saloon that he's hearing?
Far be it from me to confirm or deny your suspicions.
Okay, but, however, fuck. I feel like he would know, though. Let's talk tone, warmness of the tone, like that kind of thing. Like, what is he picking up? He has to be picking up something, surely.
It sounds as if you do already know. Do you know? I think you know.
Taldred will say, Salune?
Of course.
Oh.
Yes? Taldred, what do you want?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Answers, please.
Okay. 2.
Taldred's mind is reeling.
Taldred, if you're going to reach out to me in the middle of the night, it better be for a better reason than this. You're such a loyal supplicant. Just tell me what you need.
Taldred says, I'm curious about the dragon heart that was held by the Black Dragon Knights. Has it been destroyed?
For better or for worse, it has.
Taldred's actually surprised by that a little bit, and he's nodding his head. Okay, great.
You and your companions did excellent work. You did what needed to be done.
I always do.
Taldred, you hear something. This is not in your head. You hear a rumbling sound.
Fuck! Have I heard this sound before?
You have.
Recently, within the last 3 days or so?
It's certainly familiar to you. You know what it is without explanation. That's cavalry. That's horses on the road.
Okay, that's better than what I was expecting. Okay, all right.
Over the hill to the east, it is thundering down the road. You hear it coming. You know what it is. You could walk and look if you needed confirmation of your suspicions.
How far?
There is a bluff that is 50 feet above the road that you could easily walk to. You could take a few steps well in concealment just to see what's going on.
If I think I can stay concealed, I will do that.
You see a host of cavalry. You count 100, 200, 3. The hoofbeats are louder now. They are directly underneath you.
Samantha the First.
400.
Really?
They are all clad in purple armor that has been quickly painted black, and they are riding north hard and fast.
But they're not. Tell me about. So there must be enough moonlight for them to easily be able to ride quickly. Are they carrying torches, things of that nature? Do I think that any element of this is a search party? Well, I see Samantha, I assume.
You do.
Oh, that's fucked. Told you. Shit. Oh. But they look like they're gonna ride past us.
They've already ridden past you.
That's what okay.
This host is moving past you.
How is Samantha doing on her horse?
Not well. It seems that she is tethered to another rider.
Taldred tries really hard not to be amused by that.
How hard do you try? Are you amused by it?
Like just an inkling of it. The idea of this powerful, befallen paladin, now a queen, getting led around on her pony. I don't know. It creeps into Taldred's head.
You transgress.
I thought I might.
As soon as they are there, they are gone. They are moving quickly. They are riding hard and fast north. You are merely halfway through your watch, maybe.
Oh, things are moving quick.
The sun is beginning to rise, casting an orangeness across the horizon.
What time is it exactly? What would I guess? So you said sun probably about 4:35 a.m.ish.
That's just about right.
Taldred is going to cast sending.
You cast sending.
He's going to send it to Walt Forbes.
You surge with the power of the Seldarine, reaching out to Walter Forbes across the land of Cormyr. 25 words or less, please, Mr. Talton.
Taldred says, Walt, it's Taldred. Samantha has an army. She's riding north. Things went to shit. I also need an update on the miners.
There is a long pause as your words reach across the country. You wonder, did you just end a conversation with your deity? As you start to dwell on this, you receive a message back. Mr. Talton, so happy to hear from you. Sorry about your troubles. Glad to hear that Ruthenberg is returning. The army. Friendly, yes?
Taldred is fucking dumbfounded. He actually doesn't know what to do. He just lights up a cigarette. He plans his next move.
You inhale warm, pleasant smoke. You hear the hoofbeats echoing far north now, leaving the far range of what you can hear.
I'll do one more sending.
You surge with the power of the Seldarine. Where are you sending this?
To Walt Forbes, again. Taldred says, Walt, Samantha, hostile. Very. Don't know what she plans. I need update on miners.
Your cigarette burns in your fingers as you wait for Walt Forbes to reply to you, and quickly he does. Taldry Talton, so sorry to hear about your troubles with the lieutenant. We sent the miners to Suzale. Hope to see you soon.
Taldry goes, fuck! Taldry stands and starts pacing.
You quickly wear a little track in the dirt. The sun just begins to break over the horizon, Taldred. It seems that Lathander has not given up on you either.
When it's almost the end of his watch, Taldred will get a hero's feast fired up.
Time to make the beignets, Taldred. From beyond the physical world, once again, you provide something that has no substitute nutrition. Round, plump breakfast rolls exude steam into the cold air, and little salt crystals on the surface reflect the morning sun. Chunks of pink ham, eggs with golden yolks, clusters of grapes, the color of jealousy, a silver tankard that bears the promise of coffee.
Taldred just sits in silence, waits for everybody to get up. I want to know, this rock right here, can I get on top of it?
You can.
Taldred does so. He just sits there watching.
You scramble up the rock. It was a relatively long day. Your companions may not wake up by themselves, you realize.
But they'll wake up when they smell that hero's feast.
Will you? Party?
I think at the smell of coffee, yeah.
The sun is rising in the sky.
I did promise the coffee. Brenner will start to pile on food to some semblance of a mess kit, guzzling down what form of morning coffee he can.
Taldred's eating one of the biscuits.
Everything's fine.
Taldred doesn't say anything, which is probably answer in and of itself, and he just continues eating.
I don't know if Brenner would understand what went wrong. He'd probably infer something along the lines of you communing with your god and something went astray. But he'll keep it to himself. It's kind of rude to eat by yourselves, though. And Brenner will, if no one is waking up to the smell of food, go around one by one, nudging people in the shoulder with the tip of his bit.
How does your arm look when you wake me up?
That's a great question. How does it look?
It is beginning to assemble itself into something resembling a limb. You are starting to see the beginnings of a branch extending in something that resembles a tree growing from your socket.
Is it rigid or is it prehensile?
I can take it from here, I think. We understood that there's a bit of artifice to this. There is a literal trellis-style prosthetic that is being filled in at the moment. So at the moment, I think from probably at least elbow down, this thing's just dangling around. It has nothing to keep it aloft. But this little creeping vine that's smoldering a bit, giving off the same smell of burnt sage and incense.
Okay, so it looks otherworldly.
Oh yeah.
I will wake up, and immediately I will be gravitating toward you, Brenner. I will do as much social interaction as is necessary not to be rude, and try and look at your arm and figure out what the fuck's happening.
Brenner will just turn to face you with his shoulder and go back to drinking coffee with his other hand.
So you're letting me inspect.
Oh yeah. She did a good job. I can't move it just yet, but it's coming in.
Can you feel it? I'm gonna tap it with my staff.
Close. Not yet. Itchy more than anything at the stump. It's not fully there yet, but it's like a ghost pain I can't shake. I want to grab stuff. And I got no finger.
Interesting.
Tuldred, from up on the rock, you watch as one of the rolls falls into the mud.
Anything interesting happen overnight?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Things are moving pretty fast.
where?
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Care to give us some more detail, Taldred?
Yes, I'm getting there. I'm sorry. I just have a lot to say. And I'd like to say it in an orderly fashion. The most important things first.
If I may
Yes,
interrupt
go
you
ahead.
before you talk, Euros and Gastmere, I believe you've been awoken. Is that correct? I believe
Yeah.
Brenner has kicked you awake.
Gently nudged you awake with the tip of his boot.
I smelled the food right before you kicked me, and I
Asmed's acing as well.
that muddy roll that fell to the ground. I'm gonna grab it, digitate it to clean it and eat it. No food goes to waste when I'm hungry.
Far be it for me to interrupt you, Tuldred. Please continue.
Zaldred has, as he did with I think it was like the very first one he made, the first Hero's Feast, where he had some nice tobacco and a nice pipe, and he is smoking that. And he says, by my count, yesterday was a fucking disaster. The decisions that have occurred in this party have put us in a very, very poor spot because we failed to deal with the Flaming Fist, because we let Lapalizzi go. We now have an army waiting for us in Arabel, and because we failed to do something about Samantha, we now have another army we're stuck behind, behind, because they rode past us in the night last night.
Fuck.
400 strong. However, I have confirmed that the dragon heart was in fact extinguished, and I suspect that they no longer have any type of connection to any weave.
Just men on horses, then.
Most likely, yes. However, whether or not the Flaming Fist also have any kind of power, well, I guess Yoros could answer that better than anyone. If your magic still works, then I would assume the rest of the Flaming Fist still has their connection.
But I think his connection is his armor.
In between bites, I'll just mutter out. It's the armor through a creditor. I don't know how theirs works.
Wait, but so the rest of the Flaming Fist aren't getting it from their armor?
I don't know. I wouldn't have information on that.
Well, you talked to the guy who made it. Did he make others?
Yes, there's others, but I don't know the full extent of it. Like, so I'll take another bite.
I don't think it's without reason to say that the heart wasn't what was giving them their power.
It could
So
just
they
be-
probably still do.
It's probably just one of many ways.
Taldred says, I confirmed with Salune that the heart was giving them their power.
To the Black Dragon Knights, yeah, but the Flaming Fists too.
No. I don't know what the hell that was all about.
Yeah. In either case, that really does royally fuck it. We have two armies standing in our way behind gate. We have to find a way into the city under the cover of what? A locksmith?
It gets better.
Go on.
How can it?
I also got in contact with Walt Forbes. I told him that Samantha was riding north and asked him for an update on the miners that Roger Dale told us to find. He informed me that he had sent the miners to Cizale.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Walt Forbes is not a very competent man. If we need him for a specific mission, the miners, that is, why the fuck would he send them to Cizale?
Taldred is at a loss.
Did he give you a time frame? Will we run into them on the road?
He did not.
So they're either in Cerzale now, in transit, or indisposed.
Quite right.
Let's hope they're on the trail, because we can't turn back to Cizale at this point.
What?
And if we can't find the miners in the first place, we'll have to punch through the wall with something else.
I don't understand how 400 heavy I'm no strategic expert, but how are 400 mundane heavy cavalry going to take a walled city? Aren't heavy cavalry for field combat?
They
I
are, yeah.
have no idea.
Did they have siege works behind them?
Ooh, that's a good question. Would Taldred have seen that?
You would have seen that, and you did not see that.
Yeah, Taldred recounts that. Now, with the speed that they were moving, there's no way they could have had anything like that. It
You,
was
It's fine.
just cavalry.
you do
They're there to
think
choke them out then.
Or they're looking for us.
I don't think they'd send 400 men against us. What I'm saying is they're trying to encircle the city. Make sure nobody can get out so they can support a siege. Or they're going to break through the walls, one of the two. It's possible that people there still believe in Samantha and they'd open the gate.
They may just go in through that broken wall.
Not with that many cavalry. And again, you have to assume that the Flaming Fist have done something to shore that up.
Something strategically does not add up here. Not even Samantha is this stupid. She's either meeting somebody there or is not attempting or intending to take Arabelle by force in this manner. What if she's not riding to Arabelle?
Where would she be riding then?
I didn't ask her, I don't know, but what I heard does not make sense. If they're besieging Arabelle, where are their supplies? They would be forming a supply line. I'm sorry, I'm not the tactician here, Brenner, But you tell me if this makes any sense.
I'm saying all of that makes sense. If there's a supply line, they're doing a routing force to begin with, stop anyone in and out, to cut off there. Slowly on foot, people will carry in the siege work. If that's happening at all.
Do the Black Dragon Knights have that kind of infrastructure? I thought they were just a paramilitant group.
They're the army of Cormier. In new dress and plate.
Well, I'm guessing they're not going to sack Arabelle this way. Or maybe somebody's going to open the door for them.
In either case, standing around here isn't going to shore up any of our mini plan. We have to meet Dale quickly.
We're not going to catch them on foot. Whatever
No,
they're
we're not.
intending to do, they're going to accomplish before we get there, in my guess.
Didn't Samantha tell the spy master about ships?
It was
Arabelle's on the water, or near the water.
It's on a river.
Yeah, which ships can go up.
Can I roll history on that? I'm not certain.
You're both correct. Arabelle is located on a navigable river.
True, but if they were to sail ships, I think they would start from Suzail, not Arabelle. It's on the Sea of Stars.
Right, but to get up to Arabelle, the river's east of Suzail. We wouldn't have seen it.
Something about that doesn't add up to me. I thought the river from Arabelle to Suzail flowed north to south from the Stormhorns.
That's correct. It flows southward.
And Zentelkeep is north of here. So they would have to sail east through the Sea of Stars, and then north, and then west. And as far as I know, there's no navigable river.
All the way to Zentelkeep, there's not.
Yep. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, although I could be wrong. Again, I'm no expert in strategy.
beyond all that, it sounded more like a ruse. And she also said at the end of the month, or the start of the month.
She's got some other plans that we don't know.
Right. Obviously, but that would be one possible avenue for equipment for a siege, if that's what you're so set on her doing.
I don't know what she's doing. I'm confused.
Maybe she's just intimidating.
So far, she's been one step ahead of us basically this whole time. I bet she still is.
Do you think there's any possibility that she thinks she can strike some kind of deal with the Flaming Fists?
If she was doing that, why would she bring her entire force?
Moreover than that, do you think Samantha's the kind of leader that would do that?
Well, she did
This is
with
her
the
city.
Zent.
You're not wrong.
The Flaming Fists hate the Zentarum just as much as her. Maybe she's going for a desperate last-minute pact.
Well, it sounds like
God.
they weren't looking for us. Is that correct, Aldred?
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't have brought 400 horses in one direction. They would have split them up, looked in a search party or something, surely.
Scouts, rangers, light cavalry. Perhaps they still are. I would guess that the Flaming Fist in their current state and the Black Dragon Knights in their current state, the Black Dragon Knights don't have a whiff of a chance at this combat.
400 cavalrymen alone? No.
Against 4,000 Fist troops? With Warcasters? The Warcasters alone should rout them.
Historically, Samantha's won against greater odds. She's known for being backed into a corner and decimating a straight path out of it.
What if the heart wasn't destroyed?
It was.
How do you know?
Because I fucking burnt it and you saw it.
I know. I know we burned it. But what if we didn't do a good enough job? What if there's still remnants? Enough for her to do what she wants to do.
I don't think so.
That's interesting.
Other things than the heart that are anchoring the shadow weave here.
Clearly. What's Gasmere doing during this gaggle?
Watching.
With what type of expression? Judgment, amusement, boredom?
She always tends to have a slightly judgmental look. But you would probably say that she might look a bit exasperated, concerned. But it's very difficult to read expressions in her eyebrows, which only move about 0.5 millimeter at a time. It's a very subtle difference between judgmental and concerned.
Gasmere, do you have any comment about any of this?
Oh, I can't say I'm happy with it. We do have a method of contacting the miners, if we really do worry about their fate.
That's a good point. We should find them.
Yeah.
I only remember Alex, and she's dead.
I'll be honest with you. I only remember Alex, and I stabbed her.
Mr. Tolton spent some time with the others.
I did.
Do you remember their names?
Oh, I don't, but I know Taldred would. Because for him, it's only been, what, a week? For me, it's been months. Actually, even if he didn't, 1 second, let me double check this. I believe I still have the sheet of paper, don't we? That had the... Yep, here we go. We have Lazy and Aster, the foreman, Garrett McDale, and Ray Powell were the 3 of them.
You find something you shoved in your pack a week ago and almost forgot about coming in incredible handy.
All right, who should I try to contact among those 3?
The foreman. Which was... She was an
Asian.
elf woman, right? Yeah, the foreman. Lazy and Aster.
Okay, she'll use the stone and try to contact the foreman.
What spell are you casting? The message spell?
Yes.
As you wish. You reach out to Lazy and Aster. What is your message?
This is nothing gold. You can respond to this. We met north at the mines when me and my party helped bring you back to Arabel. I believe you're in Suzail now.
For a moment, you are alone with your thoughts, and then suddenly you hear a voice. Hey, how you doing? I do remember you. Yeah, we're in a flop house down in Suzail. What's the issue? Do you need us to do something? Of course I remember you.
Are you in the other safe right now? I think we accidentally missed each other as we just left Suzail.
Well, you know, that other guy came to see me too. But yeah, I guess we must have just missed each other. Why? What can I do for you? Hey, thanks for reaching out.
She doesn't respond to the thank you. There's a little bit of like, the other guy, you mean Paul?
I don't think that was his name.
Roger Dale?
Yeah, mustache guy.
Yeah, sounds right. There's a little bit of a political issue. I don't know if you've noticed.
I don't really follow politics. Sorry to say.
No, you're probably better off that way. But the roads between Suzail and Arabelle are not safe at the moment.
Okay, I won't be on the road, no problem.
At this point, she'll turn to the party and say, I got her. They're at a flop house south of Suzail.
How far south of Suzail?
Within Suzail's borders, I assume. Should I tell her to stay put? Should I tell her to... Are we gonna go meet her?
It's best if I mean, by now, we are not welcome in Suzail and we'll be noticed very quickly. We should try and get them to meet us outside the city. We need them, Roger said.
Agreed.
Well,
Roger already talked to them, though.
If that's the case, then why aren't they already moving?
Great question. Why did he ask us to deal with it if he already talked to them? What's the deal?
Ask when he talked to them.
Euros/Ian, are you here?
He said he was AFK for a moment.
Okay.
He said he's still listening, though.
Go ahead then. We will... Okay. Euros. You hear a sound in your head. It sounds like 3 violin notes. And then a strange neutral voice. This is a warning order. The no quarter order has been given. You hear 3 violin notes. This is a warning order. No quarter has been given. You have no idea what this is apropos of.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
The violin.
Oh, he's doing it again.
What violin? No.
Heard a violin and said, "This is a warning. No quarter." Or a warning order.
Wait, what? Say that again, Yoros?
Okay. I heard a violin just now. And then I heard a voice. It was neutral. Kind of boring. Said, "This is a warning order. The no quarter order has been given." And it's repeated twice. Across the table, does it sound familiar when I got my check has been bounced message?
It does.
It's the same voice when happened a few days ago when it said a payment was due for my armor. Do you remember when I told you about that?
Yeah. So whoever's in charge of talking to everyone is still clearly there. And if that's the case, I would imagine the no quarter order, or whatever the fuck that means, has something to do with 400 heavily armed guards charging onto a city manned by 4,000 people.
Could be.
Forced to agree. I think the siege has already started. Or maybe an open battle.
Probably. We should talk and move at this point.
Not just yet.
You have more deliberations, Taldrick?
I mean, enjoy the feast. Eat some more.
I've been eating the whole time.
Same. And it is good.
Mm-hmm. You're
Speaking
quite
of-
welcome.
Mid-conversation, Brenner snaps to attention, forgetting where he was and what just happened the day before. He'll plate up as much vegetable matter as possible and attempt to go find his elk.
You find it peacefully grazing in a meadow, exactly where you knew that it would be.
Hey, he just thinks real hard. Did the name come to him?
No. What name would you like?
I didn't think about it because I left it on you. We'll say that he has come up with one at this point, and I'll get back to you.
Wonderful.
Somerset. Perfect.
Done.
Hey, Somerset? Food. And he'll just put the plate down and come back to the...
Your elk browses the selection of Taldra's magical wares with interest. Brenner Oswick, as you walk back to the party, you sense the passage of time. You feel like this is quickly getting away from you.
Taldred stands up. Things are starting to move very fast. This party needs a leader.
I think we already deliberated on that last time. He's going to hold his hand out directly towards Gasmere. I think we all agreed to listen to you more. Now's your chance. You don't really have the crown for it, but...
Didn't you tell the Githyanki you are our leader?
We aren't asking the Githyanki now, are we? I do dislike being late to a party, so we really should get moving.
Alright, and what do I tell the miners?
Ride north.
Directly into the battle.
Preferably they cut off beforehand.
Oh, we're gonna have to... we have to find somewhere to meet them at.
They follow the road, they should be able to catch up to us if they're on horse. I mean, it's not like Suzale has any military in it right now, probably, so we could just go get them.
That
We-
would
Not
waste...
backtracking.
I know, but
If they make it good. If they don't, we have other bigger problems at hand. Number one, this wall doesn't fucking matter if we don't get into the portal. We have to get there first.
It might be easier to infiltrate the city during a combat that's probably happening at one of the gates.
agreed.
So let's do that.
We're supposed to meet Roger at the west one.
So let's move.
I would like to throw my hat in the ring, if I might. I would like to be the leader of this party because we are getting ready to make an incursion into Zenthal Keep to try and assassinate a high-standing member of the Zentarum, which is something I have more experience with than anyone else here.
You have experience strangling an unarmed woman.
Which I didn't want to do, but that is kind of the point. Nobody wanted to deal with Samantha. Nobody wanted to deal with Lapalezi. Nobody wanted to deal with Maris.
To be fair, most of us wanted to deal with them, but we were overridden.
Overridden?
Yeah.
Look, that's kind of the point. Is that we need some direction. And I'm not saying that I have any higher standing than anyone here. This is why this has been such a long time coming, is because everyone here has made sacrifices and would easily be capable of being a leader. You all know yourselves well enough. But I would like to do something to show that my conviction shines through more than any of you. Lady Gastamere, with your permission, I'd like to use your family's heirloom.
Really? For
Yes.
what purpose?
I think I've explained myself. I'll draw from the deck.
There's quite a few options that you could end up with if you do that. Surely you've considered what you would do with them.
Naturally.
I don't think we need a heroic sacrifice on the eve of battle.
First of all, who said anything about a heroic sacrifice? Second of all, with the way things are going, we're fucked. Okay? Roger Dale is a fucking moron. But even he has managed to corral a team that listens to him. And they're working together.
Is this really a dick measuring contest between you and Dale?
No. This is about getting this done. And I don't want to go in there and get outmaneuvered by his little group while we're trying to take down the Centaurum. Which, the way things are going, that's how it's going to go.
Sounds like he's upset about Big Dick Dale.
I think that Tulger is completely correct.
We do need a leader. You're not wrong. I'll agree
right.
there too. I will pose one thing. At this point, Brenner is already moving to get the elk to bend down and mount as if we're about to ride out after this conversation. You do know, as a leader, you gotta give us a name, right?
Oh, is that your primary concern, Brenner?
Brenner, are you being serious right now? Like even Taldred is like, that is ridiculous.
You fly under a flag. I am being serious.
Admittedly,
Can we
I
agree to ride
suppose so.
north and talk about it on the way? We have a full day ahead of us.
Lady Gastamere, would you please?
Don't, Taldred, you don't have to do that to prove your devotion to this cause.
Perhaps I don't, but if something horrible happens, then perhaps fate was never on our side, but I don't think that's true. Because if that was true, Taldred Talton wouldn't be with you.
And he may not in 5 minutes. Can we keep our heads on and talk as we ride? You can pull from the deck of many suicides on the way if you'd like.
I only need to pull once.
I'll throw my hands up and just look at Gasmir with a shrug.
You're doing a very good job of making it sound very self-sacrificing. But the fact is, the deck is power, and if I allow you to draw something that I may have wanted for myself, then I won't have it when I need it.
Is that... Taldred thinks about this. And he says, I don't necessarily know how this works, but I don't think that I can steal something from the deck that you can't get. Right? He's looking towards Ada, because Ada knows magic shit, and he's like, right?
It's not unheard of that many powerful, capricious magical items have limited uses, and you don't know them until it's been expended.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and it's getting more desperate every day.
Speaking of aphorisms, the road calls.
Yes, we can argue on the road.
It'll at least pass the time. But I agree, Taldred's right, and we should have an election.
I knew you were... And Taldred is immediately like, finger comes out, he goes, I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that.
As the only person here with actual leadership expertise, I would be happy to oversee the election.
Only. Do you understand I've been leading teams like this for years?
Well, I'll add that to your credentials.
Oh, man, that pisses Taldred off.
Listen, everybody here's a leader, everybody here's an adult. It's okay. We can come to a concordance, and Taldred, I'm not opposed to what you're saying. And I'm not opposed to you leading us. I can swallow my pride. I think you would be perfectly capable. And I agree, we all need to be on the same page. It's not so much an issue that we rode in head first to slay Samantha yesterday. The issue is we are unprepared for it.
I couldn't agree more.
So, let's get on the road. Get the hell out of here. This
All right.
campsite's worn out its welcome.
But while they are walking, Taldred is making a strong case to Gastamir that he wishes to draw from the deck.
Taldred, I think she politely said no, and I don't think you want her to say it more forcefully.
That wasn't a no, okay? Believe me, I know when a woman's telling me no.
Do you?
Probably.
I'm staying out of this one.
So where are we in relation to Evening Star? Are we directly south of Arabelle?
It looks like Brenner is using his new skeleton of a limb to illustrate where Evening Star is.
So yes, we are south of, we're on a direct south road, and it branches off to the west to Evening Star.
Do you
We
think
know
it
the-
would make sense to send the miners there? It would at least be safe.
We could meet them in the crook. Allegedly, the Elias should be there with the rest of the people that are rallying. They can keep at least 4 miners safe. They fought a 4th fucking dragon.
Can Nothing Gold communicate that through the rock?
You are reaching out to Lazy Nestor, the foreman, again?
Yes.
You can communicate that, yes. You send this message. There's a long pause, and she replies back, "Wait a second, I thought you said that the North Road wasn't safe. Now you want us to ride north?"
It is safe up until Arabelle.
No offense, but where am I going? For what purpose? This is a little strange. A voice in my head is telling me to ride down a dangerous road. Are you traveling north as you go through these motions?
Yes.
I would like to think so.
The behest of many of the party.
You travel on the road. Traffic is non-existent. You head north for 2 hours, seeing no one, before you eventually find a curve in the road that you remember. You can hear the wind rustling the wheat.
So how's it going with the miners?
I feel like I blew my shot, honestly. She's arguing with me that it feels too dangerous to even travel to Evenstar. Also, she's questioning who I am at this point.
She's right. We're gonna lead them in a subterfuge mission into Zental Keep.
Would you mind if I tried?
She'll hand over the rock.
Taldred takes it graciously. And he sends a message to... God, I can't believe I forgot her name already.
Legion.
Thank you. Elasian, yes. He says, "Elasian, hi. Taldred Talton. Incredibly handsome."
You send this message.
Too far north.
Is this a flaming fist force?
This was the wagon
It is.
where we had a flaming fist encounter.
There is an animal taking refuge in the remains of this cart. This is a horse wearing a red and orange Flaming Fist livery. It has a massive axe wound on its upper right hind leg, exposing a shattered femur. It is kneeling in the shade. As you approach, it panics upon seeing you, but it is unable to do more than raise its head and chuff.
Brenner will hop off Somerset and approach the horse.
If it is flaming fist trained, I will walk up to it, holding up my hand in a specific way that we are trained to try and calm it.
You do so. It rests the tip of its snout on your hand. Its eyes are glassy.
Last time this happened, I had to put it down, but things are a little different now. Brenner will kneel down to the broken leg and place his hand on it. Do I get the gist that lay on hands could fix a broken leg, or that it would just be not bleeding anymore?
You sense that you could heal this animal back to relative health through the usage of lay on hands. You think that you could lay hands on this animal in an attempt to save it.
He'll try to do so.
How many lay on hand points do you use?
20.
You heal this errant mare, whose name you do not know, for 20 points of damage. You watch as your hand closes its wound and mends its bone. It turns and looks at you with a face suggesting disappointment. It puts its face back down in the mud.
Brenner feels a mix of both warmth from being able to save something for the first time in his life, as well as maybe he shouldn't have done that.
That is exactly how you feel.
Maybe we just leave it be.
Why?
Yours, when I didn't really think this one through. When an animal gets to the point that it wants to die, I think it just wanted to die. Fuck.
Lissa and Ada. Brenner, you feel a sense of completeness. You look this animal in the eyes, and you get the impression that you understand it. Ada, Lissa, standing in the road, you realize something. There are numerous hoofprints leading north. Fresh ones.
Do I think the horse was cut down by this group of riders in the night?
It seems that you've already thought that.
I have. Alright, well, let's keep moving here. I'm gonna bend Brenner's ear a little.
By the way, everyone has 11 maximum hit points.
Dang.
Brenner, not that I don't think what you did was just, but you're a little new to this, and I assume you can't do that again today, and we're riding into battle.
Brenner takes that in for a moment and looking down at his itching stump. I think I've got more in me.
This is more of a question of proper utilization of limited resources. You should probably get used to that. You may be able to use your sword arm 1,000 times a day, but I can only cast so many spells.
Fair take. And I took a bad one.
Wasn't the worst one I've ever seen.
Thanks. I really just wish we had another horse to ride on.
Well, unless we're all riding, none of us are riding effectively.
He looks down to Somerset. This entire 2-hour trip he's been trotting along with. You're not wrong.
I'll pass by the horse and pat it on the flank.
You do so. Its flank feels stiff.
Well, any other business in this field?
Actually, yes. Brenner helped a young greenhorn through the road 2 days ago. He dropped a bow. I never picked that up. Is it still in the dirt?
It's not.
Okay.
You look around for it. You remember the entire sequence of events. You remember convincing this soldier to drop his weapons and return to a life of peace. You sense that any number of people scavenging the remains of the cart could have picked up this bow.
Yeah, 100% makes sense. Yeah, I'm good.
Are there corpses here?
There are not.
Where's this horse's rider?
Roll intelligence. Or no, roll insight.
Nine.
This isn't where the horse started. This is where it ended.
Is there anything in the horses, like saddlebags or anything like that?
It has no saddlebags. Simply battle livery that you recognize. This is a Flaming Fist war mount. This is something that would have been ridden into battle.
Can we hear anything?
You hear little passerine birds in the trees to the west. You hear the sound of the wind through sheaves of wheat.
Is there a smell on the wind?
Mud, soil, fruit trees.
Nothing like smoke.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna continue down the road.
We'll take the horse with us.
The horse is either unwilling or unable to move.
How's he unable to move? It's just you. Alright. I will give him... I'll give him the sign to let him free roam when you take a horse to a pen.
You do so.
And move on.
The party is traveling north.
I believe so.
The sun is high in the sky. Still no traffic, but you start to notice a haze in the air that smells like sulfur. You travel for 4 hours. It must be past noon now. You find a familiar stretch of road, and you know that you must be approaching Arabelle's southwestern gate.
I think we will be chatting about leadership in the group at this point. Or at least I will be trying to force the conversation.
Please do so.
Taldred, it is in a conflict of interest and in general poor taste to nominate yourself for a position which requires a quorum of peers.
Yeah, but not when I think that my life is on the line. A little bit different.
All of our lives are on the line here, Taldred.
Yes, but that's why I put myself, because I thought I would be the best person to keep us alive, myself included.
I mean, Ada, to be fair, isn't that how a politician starts running for something?
I assumed as much as well.
You need signatures from civilians to put you on the ballot.
We're not civilians.
Oh, that's right. Mercenaries are better than civilians. I forgot.
No, but it's still different.
Well, regardless, is there anybody else who's even vaguely interested in this?
I've led all my fucking life. I'm done with it.
I think I'm not suited to this position. Despite my experience, I'm no tactician. I think the tacticians here are Breder, who's not willing, Taldred, and Lady Gasmere. If she's at all interested, I would nominate her.
Should we find ourselves in combat, it would be foolish not to follow my lead. Outside of it, well, I'm not entirely convinced any of us are leaders.
Ouch.
You can prove yourself. If it hurts your feelings so, keep us alive.
That's what I've been doing for the last week and a half. Will you truly use that deck?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
Even knowing what could happen?
Yes.
You'd throw it all away?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. But I mean, what about those odds?
Well, they aren't entirely ideal now, are they?
But Yastamir, I think you still have a lot of living left to do.
You do
So
as
why
well.
would you risk it? Not
Why
as
would
much
you?
as you. I don't have quite as much living as you might think.
Seems like an oddly desperate decision on your part.
Things are oddly desperate. It could be the end of the world.
And so you wish to become our leader or die?
I honestly think those are my options, yes.
The world already ended, Daldred.
Not yet, it hasn't. Solune still believes in us. And that's why I believe in her.
Well, once I believed in Mistra, and she's dead.
Tyranny Fang doesn't seem to think so.
So, Gasmir, I take this as a no, and that you're not willing to have a quote-unquote person who wears the crown. Vote of no confidence is still a vote.
I don't think he needs to draw from the deck to be a leader if he so wishes.
I agree with that completely. I think that's some sort of idiotic masculinity, thinking he could never die.
Didn't say I could never die. Trust me. I'm gonna die.
Well, there are worse options than death in there as well.
Not sure that's true.
Regardless. We never get anywhere, do we?
Does seem to be an issue.
What exactly is the plan once we reach the city? Are we securing the temple, killing everyone in sight?
It's a great question.
I assume Roger has some intel for us. He seems to think we can get inside.
Really hope we can.
He has a diviner. He must know something.
Wish we had one of those.
I'm doing my best, I assure you.
So nobody else is interested in this at all. I'm gonna look at Nothing Gold and gauge her reaction. She has not said a fucking word during any of these leadership discussions.
I think it would become very clear that trying to lead Nothing Gold is somebody's entire job all to itself.
Yeah.
And by this point, I think she's broken through the trees, sort of following animal noises.
You see two animals here.
In what condition?
There is a yak, familiar to you, Nothing Gold, with shaggy brown hair, eating the thick weeds growing next to the marshy pond. A dog is lying in the yak's shadow. Its eyes are red and glossy, and both of its back legs appear entirely stiff and swollen. Its tail is merely a bloody stump, and it whines softly as you see that its body is wrapped around a little pile of its entrails. You hear a massive explosion near to the north, and the dog's pointed ears quiver in fear as the leaves of the trees around you shake gently with a shockwave of air. The smell of sulfur and the ash in the air becomes overwhelming. It's difficult not to squint.
We can't stay here.
We're gonna look like that creature if we don't get a move on.
Yes.
It sounds like we're not going to get a de facto group head. So let's just move on and deal with what we have.
We need something.
Well, you seem to be the only person interested, Taldred, so it's you. See if you can figure out how to make people follow you.
It's trying. Look, he turns
Trust
to.
me, I know, Taldred.
He turns to Alyssa Gastamere and he says, I want you to trust me. I want you all to trust me. And I want you to know, not to think, I want you to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I will put all of your lives before mine.
Don't you mean that the other way, Taldred?
No, I will put all of your lives before mine.
In importance.
In
I
importance,
understand.
correct.
Ah, okay.
I know, you're a politician. It's hard to think these ways.
No, I'm a lawyer and words matter.
Is this the yak I fed at the swamp?
You sense that it may be.
So that was Taldred's last plea to Gastamere before he drops this.
We'll take that into consideration.
The wind begins to carry ash that falls like snow.
This dog's wounds are beyond being able to be cured through magic, right? Can she make a medicine check too?
It sounds like you've already inferred that.
Okay. I don't necessarily want to describe it, but can she put it out of its misery?
You can, and you do.
How's the yak looking?
Herbivorous.
Brenner will give it about 2 or so odd minutes for things to pan out. People rest at the water. Get it before he's gonna. We don't have a lot of time to catch up. If our window is when they're fighting, that's not gonna be forever.
We need to be careful not to push in too hasty, though.
You were the crowd now, Taldred.
And maybe so, but I obviously still respect everyone's input.
I know. I was serious about a name, though. I meant it, because if you had one, it meant you would have thought about it. This isn't a spur-of-the-moment decision.
I mean, I've already pitched Team T. You guys shot it down.
I'm not gonna go running around with a banner with a T emblazoned on it, Taldred.
There could be worse things on a banner.
Like what?
Nope, nope.
Yoros,
Ada?
are you still hearing that voice in your head? That klaxon? That alarm?
Haven't heard anything recently.
Since this morning.
Correct.
If you hear anything else, let us know. It could be valuable information to how the combat's going.
Well, apparently they didn't take me off their distribution list. So,
You still get to do your job, then. Be a scout, but in the brain.
you're right. That's what I'm good at.
Also, Taldred, don't you think that Team T, the most identifiable man in the realms, whose name starts with T, I don't necessarily want that to be written on my armor?
Well, when we save the world, you will.
If I live through this, I will happily wear Team T. But
I am
for now,
so
let's
glad to. Can we
have
get that
a little
in
more
writing?
tact.
Well, if we want tact, then a name defeats the whole purpose. To begin with, we need to be an unquantifiable entity, which is what I've been for the last 10 years.
So are we going to be the gelatinous cubes? What is the issue here?
I love that there is a war going on in the background of this discussion.
Ruin it. Follows us in our wake.
Is this hill cliff scalable?
It is, but this terrain is relatively hilly, so it may not give you much more of a point of view than what you already have. Just, I'm assuming your intent.
I don't entirely think we should just wander up to the gate on the road. It seems like we should find cover.
We should find Dale.
Dale, yes. Roger Dale said he was going to meet us west of the gate, so we need to get west of the gate.
I'll gesture impatiently at Taldred westward.
Taldred's moving. He is moving.
Well, you seem to be behind me right now.
He's still moving. One of us is wearing plate mail.
Two of us.
Okay, yes, but between me and Ada, I mean.
Leaders don't give excuses, Taldred.
If you're more physically fit, you'd be able to move faster.
I have other skills.
A leader doesn't bark back at criticism.
I'll pat Yoros at the back. You get him, Yoros.
Traveling north, it sounds.
Yeah.
You travel north. Lissa Gastmere, you realize something. You just stepped on an arrow? Peculiar. It's face down, pointing into the mud, pointing southwest. You can smell smoke in the air.
This fucking idiot.
Has the gate been breached?
You see carnage toward the gate. What gate? There is none. You see small ladders have been placed along the battlements.
Is there a den of combat still ongoing, or does it sound dead silent?
You crane your neck and listen. You can hear the sound of steel on steel, punctuated with screams to your east.
They're already through the wall. We might be able to slip in. I still don't like that.
Roger Dale.
You see,
Meet him.
you see no obvious sign of Roger Dale.
Right, but men like Roger would have a way, even if they couldn't be there. I've noticed that little message there.
Is this a dead drop?
Why don't you walk up and inspect it?
I would love to.
It is. You quickly find that this is a scroll nailed to the tree that must have been for you. One moment. Oh, wrong item. I'm sorry. If you saw that, you didn't see it. There you go.
Can't believe he has his own letterhead.
Do you not?
Meet you deep, 8th level. I open the vault, you do your thing, I sit the throne. See you there. I can't believe this is our only ally left in Toril.
You're telling me.
You have a sense.
Generous to be calling him an ally, considering that he will surely betray us.
We still have plenty of allies. You just
Like who?
Can we bicker later?
Agreed.
You were going to say? Like?
You have a sense of being hung out to dry.
Yeah, it feels like it.
It's on us then. This is our best shot. Open combat.
This gate?
The one that's open under siege? Yeah, that one. Unless you know any other holes in the wall that we can sneak through.
there's ladders.
There's the aqueduct.
What?
You know, the place people get their water.
Yeah, but
It goes through tunnels, does it not? I mean, I don't construct cities, but
I'm not sure all of us could fit in that.
I don't really either.
I will say that it may be advantageous to look for another entrance instead of taking the first one we find.
The watering hole that supplied the city, was that an aqueduct or a viaduct? I'm asking if that is an above-ground aqueduct or a piped underground tunneling system.
You know, having a good mind for the infrastructure of this area, that aqueduct travels above ground for most of its length, coming from its source high in the Stormhorns, bringing clean drinking water here down to Arabel, and the part that supplies inside of the city would be a viaduct under the city. There are masonry tunnels beneath Arabel that feed several terminuses that people can use for water.
Nothing gold. I cannot cast water breathing, and I assume you can't cast it either.
I
That's what we
can.
need. You can.
I can.
On all of us.
I believe so. Let me double check. I believe up to 10 people.
Brenner, you can smell the acidic smell of vomit on the road.
It's familiar.
You realize that you're standing less than 20 feet from a dead man.
Yeah. He'll circle Somerset back off into the tree line and dismiss it back into whichever whence it came, driving through carnage on this thing.
I can up to 10 people, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. I would need time to recall how to do it.
Time we don't have.
Cast it.
Sorry, what'd you say, Dave?
You need to ritual cast it. Is that correct?
No, Artificer's one of those that you pick spells every day, so she literally does not have it prepared.
Does it even look like we can get in through that bridge right there? It looks collapsed, yeah.
The bridge is collapsed. A solitary black dragon knight holding a halberd is studying you from the other side. The gate is wide open, clearly blown open by something. The gap is 5 feet at its narrowest, easily clearable with a jump.
Time's a wasting. Brenner, what do you think?
Well, I don't know the sewer system, so I don't think that's a great idea.
Same.
And being stuck in tunnels as people with sharp sticks are on the other end is a really fucking dumb plan.
I think our best bet is coming in behind the Dragon Knights.
Yeah.
Just go with the ladders when you go around on the walls.
I can agree with that. High ground. Even I know that.
gesture at the purple black dragon knight studying us.
Okay, kill him.
Okay.
He's in our way, Ada. There's going to be a lot of things in our way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go forth with another grand plan from Group T.
Team.
TT.
Oh,
Soldier
God.
knows it.
I guess Taldra will walk up. He'll be at the front.
You see a black dragon knight There is a large bruise on his left cheek. You, Taldred, having experience with medicine, realize that his cheekbone is likely broken. He squints as if his left eye is uncooperative. He straightens his spine when he sees you, and his heavy armor lurches into place. He spits on the ground towards you. It lands in the river. He has both hands around the halberd and sizes you up like you are nothing. His face
recognize him.
Yes, his face looks a little familiar. You can't quite place it, or maybe you can. His voice is surprisingly confident for someone so outnumbered, and it too echoes familiarity somehow. It says, 5th Cormerian Marines, Black Dragon Knights have retaken this city. Stay the fuck over there.
Sounds like it hasn't been quite retaken yet.
As you say that, you hear someone to your east cry out, "No! No! No!" before it is silenced by the sound of a sword in flesh.
I need to get to the Temple of the Radiant Heart.
He doesn't respond. The creek burbles below you.
Soldier said, are you going to just stand aside, or are you going to get in our way?
I think I'm already in your way.
Soldier turns to Brenner.
You wear the hat now, bud.
But you're still the spear.
He looks back to 8. I'm not throwing this one.
Oh my god.
I think you'd like to take this one down.
I would, but I would not like to burn.
I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast.
Thank you.
You do so. You surge with the power of the... Nothing happens.
Oh!
Well, this could be a problem.
Taldred goes, right, yes. Is it... Did it...
It's like this. And all cats Eldritch Blast.
You surge with the power of the Demon Weave. You channel fell energy. What is your target? And roll to hit.
Lieutenant Mitchell Forbes. It's been a minute. 1 second. Ranged spell attack. Okay, I apologize. Ranged spell attack uses Dex, correct?
Correct.
It's just your casting modifier. It's always off of your casting modifier for all spell attack.
Something dictates otherwise.
18.
18 hits. You blast this Black Dragon Knight, already injured, with fell energy. There's a crunch as your Eldritch Blast obliterates his neck. He falls face forward, his neck joint entirely flopping as he lands in the river, wordlessly. His halberd falls with him. You transgress.
Before that possible transgression, Taldred is going to say, he's going to turn back to Ada, and he's going to say, that was my call.
You turn back to Ada, but the blood is already in the river.
Fair enough.
It's not so easy when it's not a halfling boy, is it?
Can I summon my mace?
You go ahead. Why don't you try? You have a sense of loss, and you start to feel things closing in on you. You try to test something. You try to see, can I cast spells? I assume. Go ahead and try, Euros.
Simply just gonna hold my hand out and try to pull the mace out of the void pocket as I always do, like unsheathing a weapon.
You've done this thousands of times. You reach out as if you are pulling something out of your pocket, but nothing comes. Your hand is empty. Your hand closes around nothing.
problem.
What?
Yes.
Time's up on the armor.
You.
Well,
It's fine.
Are you sure?
Can we move?
Mitchell,
Yes, absolutely. Stay close, Yoros.
Mitchell Forbes's body separates from his head in the river as it flows downstream to the south.
Anybody got an extra weapon?
he did. Is it still on the ground, or did he come with it in the river?
It is. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The halberd. He was holding one.
The halberd. Yes, there is a halberd stuck now in the mud of the river.
You know how to use one of those things?
Not well, but yes.
Taldred hands him Hungerer, the two-handed, or the, nope. It was the long sword, right? Bastard sword, yes. So, he hands him Hungerer, the +2 sword.
Alright, that'll do.
How easy is it to traverse this gap here? Do I think I can do it?
You think you can do it?
Let's put that to the test. Can I do it without a leap like somebody in their youth at their 50s might do?
Unfortunately, this will require a leap. Shouldn't be a problem, right?
Do I? Okay,
Do you-
I'm gonna roll.
Quick question, that little cart down there, could we repurpose that into a plank to help us cross this gap?
Potentially you could. It might take some time, but you could maybe start disassembling this cart.
I'll be honest, it looks pretty fucking disassembled already. Taldred points to the cart and he goes, Brenner, Gastmer, can we get that across the gap? Or in the gap?
I'm gonna reel back and start making some distance between me and the river.
Or it just moves out of the way.
It's not a far hop.
I'm gonna run and do it.
Roll athletics.
My forte. Four.
You throw yourself across the narrow opening. You don't make it. Instead, your torso slams into the stairs on the far side. You are holding your arms up over the edge now. Make a strength check.
Asthma is going to jump onto the other side and try and pull Ada up.
6.
Your grip slips, Ada. You fall into the river. You are entirely soaked, and you are pushed with the current against one of the river rocks. Lissa Gasmere, you watch as Ada hopelessly scrambles against the current.
I'll curse and thrash.
Time to go Ada fishing, I guess.
I could get myself out of here.
It's worth it. You are darling, but please stop trashing, says Gasman and jumps into the river and fucking fishes Ada out.
Your nearly supernatural strength provided by your gauntlets allows you to navigate things like pulling Ada out of the river with no issues whatsoever. You can toss Ada around like she's nothing.
He grabs Ada like she's a kitten drowning in the river, and she throws him out of the river on the other side, and then just spider climbs up the side herself.
Ada, take 3 bludgeoning damage as you are tossed, as a projectile would be, landing in the city of Arabel. You realize, with a bit of dismay, that that's not really just river water today.
I think cart's out of the question at this point. And we've got a lifeguard. And Brenner just starts to reel back as if he's going to run across us.
To your east, you hear the telltale sound of a building collapsing under fire.
Yeah.
Brenner, roll athletics.
21.
You easily hurdle over the gap.
Brenner will stand, post up, facing back, as if to assist anybody back over if they
Yeah,
fail the jump this time.
If Taldred sees Brenner ready to, give a hand, Taldred will go next.
Roll athletics at advantage, being assisted on the other side by Brenner Oswick.
Let's see if that even makes a difference. Tell you what, Taldred's gonna grab his holy symbol and use guidance for maybe the first time ever in this campaign.
Selune looks upon you with favor.
Here's hoping she does. Taldred jumps. Is it one? Hold on. Pretty sure it's just a 1d4.
For guidance, yes,
It is.
It is, okay. Okay, so one of those is an 8. Which comes to a 10.
You land roughly on the other side. Brenner has to pull you upward, and Brenner, Taldred is not very light in this heavy armor. You're able to do it, but Taldred, you don't look particularly leader-like as Brenner muscles to get you onto his side of the river.
Leaders
really
have many
could've-
qualities.
Giving it your all. I only got one arm here.
Believe me, I did.
Brenner will drag him to his next.
I think NG looks very dubious about crossing the water with nothing between her and the river.
You can...
She'll let Yoros go.
I'm dexterous. It's not a problem.
Can you pick me up and throw me?
Sure.
Make a strength check. You heave nothing gold into the river. Nothing gold. You can imagine Umberly sweeping you up. You are amongst fallen boards, trusses, and pieces of lumber.
Can she grab onto one to at least stay above water?
You can.
I imagine Brenner and Taldred are both reaching down to grab her.
Both of you are able to help. You are able to pull her up and out. Much as Ada is, you are soaked in this questionable river water. Ada and Gastmere, roll perception.
Do I have to? Can't I just be ignorant?
You may fail a check.
Yes, I would like to voluntarily fail this check.
You shiver. You are too cold to pay attention to anything going on around you.
26.
Listen, Gastmere, you just heard somebody on the wall above you. You're sure of it.
She turns around to take a glance.
You don't see anybody. But you know you just heard boots walking on stone right above you. Someone's up there. It sounded like they were walking away from you to the north.
She's got the thing where she sticks to walls, so she's gonna stick to the wall like a lizard and climb up it and take a peek.
You take a peek without fully putting yourself up on the wall, is that right?
Yes.
You can see something. It looks blackened. It's a figure, but it seems to be rather burnt. It's difficult to tell what it even is, other than something humanoid. Looks like it's reloading a heavy crossbow.
He glances down and makes gestures at the others, trying to like alert them that there's somebody up here.
So-
Without actually saying.
Okay, so seeing that, it seems that it's obvious that we shouldn't be making noises, and so Taldred is just doing this to Yoros.
Yeah, I'll go across.
Roll athletics. You land with relative ease. You see that Ada is shivering.
Taldred will do cure wounds on Ada.
I'm gonna stop him.
Oh, what, okay, so how? How do you stop him?
I'll just put my hand over your mouth while you're speaking the words. Save it.
All right, okay, I'll trust you.
I'm sure the fist will be happy to warm me up for free. Let's just get in there.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of the damage you took when you got tossed.
I'm sure the feast will cover that.
Fair enough. And Taldred points up. Let's take the high ground. Have a look around.
Are these siege escalades navigable?
I'm gonna stop you right there. I can't climb a ladder. There's no fucking shot.
What? What do you mean?
I have one arm.
Oh, and 2 legs. You can climb a ladder like that. Out of character, you can climb a ladder like that, especially one that's angled like that.
I've carried stuff up ladders in one arm before. You can.
This is also a siege tower, right? How tall are these walls?
30 feet.
Yeah.
Brenner, if you're afraid of heights, that's fine.
Can we just go through the gate? It's open.
I don't think that's a good idea. It would be better if we were up and we could look around, see what's happening, so we don't walk into a situation we can't get out of. It's gonna be hard crossing that bridge.
Then tell us to do it, Taldred.
I thought I did. I said, let's go up.
I'm gonna slowly skulk up the ladder. While
Brenner, I will go up right beneath you. I'll be right there with you.
Okay.
Asmir's like really creepily right next to the ladder, kind of sideways on the wall, and looks at Euros.
I've already skulked up the ladder.
As you were skulking up the ladder, you realize you were being studied by a spider named Lysigasmir. Is anyone not going up the ladder? Understood. One moment. You see devastation. Fires are burning down below.
Jesus.
You see that you are occupying the same battlements as what seems to be a Black Dragon Knight. He is badly burned and going through the motions of attempting to reload a charred heavy crossbow.
I'm gonna quickly rush him and stab him.
You do so. You easily cut him down. How do you kill him?
Pull out Ruiner from my side and just simply stab it straight up into him.
You end his life wordlessly. He collapses at your feet. You get a sense of how badly he must have been burned. His crossbow is merely a useless cinder.
Based on what we know about this city, is it possible that we can travel the battlements all the way to the backside of the Temple of the Radiant Heart?
You attempt to judge your ability to do that. You see that it appears that the wall was attacked with siege weapons. You realize that down below there is evidence of large explosions. This mimics... What does it mimic? What does this remind you of, Taldred?
The explosion from Lawrence.
It does. Everything seems to resonate with you. You realize that looking north along the wall, there is a huge pit and chunk taken out of it. Perhaps 15 yards of stone have been removed. You see...
It can't be traversed.
Correct. You see craters down below you. Someone has used major explosives here, perhaps in lieu of something else.
You don't need to bring a siege if it was already here.
This is probably what Smithfield saw.
While they're discussing, I'm gonna be patting down this guy I just killed for like a scroll if he has orders or anything like that. Maybe a potion or two.
You find nothing but his personal affects. You smell death. To your east, you hear the sounds of fighting.
Well, it looks like the wall is incomplete. We're gonna have to take the streets to the Radiant of Heart. Let's try to avoid a fight if we can.
Yep. In the central gatehouse, there's like a staircase that leads down to the bottom floor, correct?
There is. Inside these gatehouses, you are able to travel down to ground level.
And Brenner will start to do so.
Who is this man?
You see a man.
What does he appear as to me? Sorry.
He,
hold on.
yeah, he appears to be a red-robed figure kneeling down between two fallen Flaming Fist soldiers. He is looking between both of them, and it is apparent that they are both beheaded. You hear him say something to himself. They have vorpal weapons. In frustration, he takes a potion off his belt and throws it on the ground. It shatters and he shakes his head, realizing that there is nothing to be done. He doesn't see you, acknowledge you, or realize anything. He sits down and rubs his temple. Smoke swirls around the square. You hear a shriek to the east.
I'm going to go down, and Brenner is at the lead, and I will tap him on the shoulder, and I'll say, I think that's a fist healer.
Brenner probably didn't even notice them in the first, acknowledging that he probably just keep her distant.
Yeah. We don't need to cause any more death.
Having traveled these streets many times over at this point, we know that going south to where the Executioner's block was does not lead to another southern road, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so the only exit is here in the top right-hand corner.
To the northeast, correct. There is Rose Boulevard that runs east-west.
As we're moving through, does it look like the battle is going in one way or the other? Do we see more Flaming Fist on the ground than Dragon Knights?
You see far more Flaming Fist soldiers than Dragon Knights.
Hoof.
Feel free to count them as you see fit. I'm counting them right now. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dead Flaming Fist, and no dead Dragon Knights other than the one that Yoros gave a coup de grace to.
God damn.
It's a bit disappointing.
We're traveling past the old command center tent of the Fist. I will glance in. Do I think there's anything but ransack in there?
As you walk past this, you look to the south. You see that explosions, craters, are centered on where that command tent was.
Okay. Moving on.
Traveling east?
Yes.
One moment.
Would it be possible to take a break soon?
Why don't we take a 5 right here?
Thank you.
I will be back. Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Hey, gamer.
Oh, Ian, I did have a request. I love the flavoring of text like emotes in Roll20 chat, but I often miss it because I don't have it on my screen. So feel free to cut in with like Euros is doing X or this is my appearance as I do Y. That's like not at all disruptive. I think it's good flavoring and like excellent world building. So I encourage you to, instead of typing it, just say it because I'll just miss it. And sometimes it might be really important.
Okay. I mean, I was just taking a cue from how Frample does it.
Generally, I just do it as flavoring in the background as people are having bickering conversation.
Yeah, it's usually what...
I just don't want quality role playing to be lost. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, these D&D tarot cards I got. Look at
Hell
that
yeah.
art.
I love this, by the way.
So nice. Yeah.
I should have had the.
Well, these are cool because you can do like make your own adventure with them.
Interesting.
So it's like, this one is if you draw the Justice upright, a poor villager comes to you seeking aid and offers you a rare magic item in compensation.
And before we cut back in, as always, Dopey knocking it out of the park with these maps.
I would actually like it if
Andrew's crazy.
something that I'm not sure how to word this. So now that you gave me a cue, I'm just going to run with it. This session has a lot of show, don't tell kind of things, and that is only possible because of the work that Andrew has put into these maps. So if you see him, talk to him. If you think these maps are as good as I think they are, please tell him, because this campaign would not be nearly as rich or even possible without him. Because he put a disgusting amount of work into this. That being said, let's cut back in. You find yourselves heading east. Your face is warmed by the glowing fires. You smell burning hair.
So we talked about the presence of the Flaming Fist bodies on the ground. What about non-Flaming Fist bodies?
Strangely, you don't see many civilians, if that's what you're searching for. Here you do see you see something different. This statue has been smashed, and the guard that apparently refused to move has been crucified by what she sought to guard. Her blood drips onto the soil.
So much for Cormyr forever.
Taldred stands there looking at it.
Without her helmet on, she's pretty. Her hands have been nailed to the cross. Her blood is dripping onto the ground.
Taldred doesn't turn around, but he says, I want to make sure that we all agree that Samantha Ruthenberg no longer deserves our mercy or our benefit of the doubt.
I would have put her down there if I could. If I could breathe through fire, we'd be living in a different world.
She would have been dead if we didn't run out of time.
There's no guarantee they wouldn't have had a way to save her.
They brought me back. Sure as shit could bring her too.
You did your best.
Nothing
Richard
gold.
shakes his head.
You see that the front gate has been knocked down. You see that the buildings inside the jail are all burned to timbers.
She's not expecting to see many bodies because of the rescue that she and Taldred did. Is that reflected here?
Correct. I see no bodies.
This seems so senseless.
The wind howls down Rose Boulevard.
War normally is.
I do have to wonder, and I'll be honest, I'm not even sure how you would be able to tell this, but does this seem like the work of the Dragon Knights, or was Roger Dale correct, and this was the doing of the Flaming Fist, simply scorched earthing the city?
This destruction seems like it has a path. I don't think this is the fists sacking the city.
Neither do I.
Let me suggest that this path leads to one place. They know what they're after.
I want us to
Yeah.
move first when we see them.
I expect us all to move this time.
We should not take a direct approach with the temple coming up.
There's only one way to that portal.
Yep.
So at least let's get eyes on the temple first before we just waltz in there.
Go ahead, Yoros.
That I will.
Is the party traveling east? Is that what I sense?
Yep.
A downed tree is in the road.
Any indication of what downed it?
There's nothing clear. Strangely, Brenner, you step across broken glass. The smoke is growing heavy in the air here.
What's
It's-
this red liquid around this glass? Is it blood? Is it like a potion?
You don't think it's a potion.
Brenner will take out his half cape and drench it in his water skin, wrapping it around his face. He's
You-
almost asphyxiated from smoke 2 days ago, so.
You can breathe a bit easier. You realize that there is innumerable amounts of horse shit throughout the corridor here. Embers are burning from some houses that seem to have been set fire to deliberately.
The smoke is making Taldred antsy, so he is moving a little bit more briskly.
These firebombs?
Yeah. We've seen him firsthand.
How much of this looks like raising versus pillaging?
You sense, Ada, you are next to something, a wall. It doesn't seem like anyone made their last stand here, so what purpose would someone have for destroying the wall other than wanton destruction?
They're looking for somebody.
Is the house beyond that wall untouched?
Perhaps relatively untouched. It's difficult to tell. Some houses have been completely torched.
I don't think they're really so much looking for somebody as trying to make a statement. This is Samantha's reign.
And the dog's owner's corpse is not here, correct?
Not that you can see.
Oh, made it awfully far.
Where is everyone?
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
far away from here.
Continuing to move east, it appears.
Keeping up with Taldred's brisker step.
Nothing, Gold. Can you try and contact Forbes and see where he's at?
I think Taldred has the stone, right?
100% he would have handed it back.
Oh, okay, okay. She'll wince, but she'll hold it up and tentatively say, Forbes.
You're casting the message spell. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
While she's doing that, Taldred, I'm gonna hand you my stone.
What's this?
It's a message stone.
We had more?
Yes, I had mine.
Are you sure?
I can't use magic right now.
Didn't we only ever have the one?
Yeah, there's only one white and
Two. We've had two the whole time.
Where'd they come
No.
from?
Yeah, because there was three. It was Lapalazi's, mine, and Avery's, wasn't there?
Where did yours come from?
I've always had one. Or didn't I?
okay,
No.
no matter.
Never mind. I thought we had two.
To my knowledge, there's only one, and it's currently in Talder's possession.
Isn't nothing gold?
You gave it back, nothing gold.
Correct, yes.
Correct. Yes, you just said that. Okay, going back. You cast the. What is your message?
She said tentatively just out into the ether, Forbes.
You receive a cheerful message back. Nothing gold. How wonderful to hear from you. I hope your travels are safe.
Forbes, are you in the Temple of the Radiant Heart?
I am. I'm in my office. Make sure to knock.
Are you alone?
Are any of us truly alone?
Okay, so I assume you're holed up, you're safe for the time being. You know what's going on with Samantha, I presume.
Nothing gold. You stop yourself mid-thought. You've been traveling east while you have this conversation, I presume, and you see something. A tremendous pile of bodies stacked at the entrance to what was once the inn. The tossed wave is on fire, and it seems that civilians potentially seeking safety have been incinerated en masse.
Fuck.
The smell is overwhelming. Everybody make a Constitution saving throw.
Everybody that's within 10 feet of me, add 4 to the...
Which is Ada, Nothing Gold, and Gastmere.
Am I not in 10 feet? Oh, am I just not? I'm on the outside. Okay.
12. Although I think she fails this.
If it's under
17.
if it's under 13, you vomit. You cannot stop yourself from falling to your knees and throwing up.
I crit with it, and I have a 23 total.
You suppress the nausea. You are able to look past it. To the northeast, you can see the edge of the Temple of the Radiant Heart. To the south, you see that some of the buildings have collapsed toward each other, blocking the path. From here, you can see the water in the aqueduct seems murky and brown. Prime materiel seems burned to cinders.
Brenner will come over to Nothing Gold to help her back up.
She wipes her mouth with the back of her hand.
You hear a shriek and a cry to your east. You hear the sound of armor being hit by something. You hear steel on steel.
Talder's like sprinting to the temple.
Brenner picks up paste.
Yep. When we pass
Ye-
the alley, I'm going to glance downward at the CD district. Are there people there?
You glance down toward Little Avernus. Past the collapsed buildings, you can see nothing. The smoke is heavy in this area. It's difficult to see more than a few feet. Here, outside the temple, to the north lies the Temple of the Radiant Heart. The front archway has collapsed, leaving a massive opening in the front facade. The entire front of this building is open. To your east, you hear steel on steel. You hear a shriek of pain. The smell of sulfur and ash is hanging in the air. You can see people moving to your east.
He's safe. He's holed up. We can leave him where he is right now.
Where he is where we want to be.
It is.
You don't want to go stop them?
We have bigger
If-
fish to fry.
Nothing Gold. We can't fight 400 men on horseback. You've seen what they've fucking done. He's just gonna turn back and gesture wildly to the Lantan ravaged city behind. I'd love to save them. I don't think we can.
She looks towards Gasmir.
Much as I'd love to take Samantha off her horse and dice her into tiny pieces, we do have priorities.
1 point of order. Nothing Gold, you can see the Eastros markets from here. You don't see 400 men. You see 3.
I see 3.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
And again, she looks at Gasmir like, yes, let's go, right?
Underhearing, it's only 3. Brenner just breaks path for.
I will let out a loud, audible sigh.
Nothing Gold. You see the Queen of Cormyr. She is bleeding badly. There is blood running down her face from a long slash on her scalp. With her, you see a Black Dragon Knight captain. There are at least 24 small pits in his armor where arrows have been deflected. A few of those divots are occupied by arrows which originate brown streaks of dirty blood. You see a Major of the Flaming Fist. He has no weapon or right forearm to hold one with. He is lying on his back, clutching his missing arm. He gasps up in pain. What was even the point? You burned your own city to the ground. Look around you! But she can't look. The wind howls, and she says, "Aye, our city." Samantha stabs down at him with her longsword, desecrating his face with stab after stab before she howls in victory. The queen stands up uneasily and blinks, tears mixing with blood. Spanbauer is checking the pulse of the Dragon Knight that has rapidly exsanguinated at his feet. There is no healing magic and no clerics. He looks up, mouth open, shaking his head, overwhelmed. Nothing Gold, you see something. To the east, leaving the gate, there are civilians fleeing. One of them makes eye contact with you. It is a young woman who looks over her shoulder and sees you. She sees the vulgar power, the end of an age, the promise of new beginnings, the red and the purple, all framed by the ancient granite walls whose shadows she has walked in her entire life. In her hastily gathered knapsack, there is a set of oil paints and an oxhair brush that will make you immortal as soon as she can find a quiet spot and a candle. The action's with the party.
As soon as Taldred hears Samantha's voice, you cast Spirit Guardians.
You surge with the power of the Seldring, casting Spirit Guardians.
At level 5? Yes, level 5.
Spanbauer is just looking up at her. He is between 2 Dragon Knights that have died. Lapolesi is completely destroyed.
We're doing this.
Rushing in.
Yeah.
Just gonna immediately sprint forward, and as they're still monologuing, with Ruiner out in one hand, my other dagger in the offhand, I'm just gonna thrust at Samantha.
You commit regicide. The altar of the country is stained with the blood of the virtuous. You transgress beyond worlds. You kill the queen. Spanbauer drops his weapon at his feet. The wind howls through the markets.
This is for the Flaming Fists.
Samantha lies on her back and croaks up at you. I remain forever.
Brenner just looks down silently to the 2 of them. Spanbauer has disarmed himself in front of us, correct?
He shakes his head wordlessly, unable to say anything.
Leave him.
No.
Fucking leave him. Brenner is more on edge than ever.
Yoros, we got Samantha. That's all we needed to do.
Let's move. The city is still the Flaming Fists for now.
Says who?
Me.
No.
No.
I hate to interrupt a touching scene, but aren't they just going to raise her?
With what magic?
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody will find a way.
And
Ada.
torture.
Can you burn her?
I don't think this is my body to burn.
That's fair.
Looking dead, straight at Spanbauer. He'll kick the sword to him. That's not his. Brenner's, that is. He'll kneel down to the bleeding corpse and char it. The same way that he raised his fist up to burn the heart, he'll burn Samantha to ash.
You do so.
Cormier forever. Brenner will stand up and leave Spanbauer alive.
Spanbauer walks toward the northeast gate, toward where the civilians were fleeing.
Taldred says, if you ever come after us, you're dead.
He ignores you, Taldred, in favor of looking at Brenner, and he says, "Forever, Cormier," and turns and walks to the northeast.
Did he take her blade?
No. It's lying on the ground.
Yoros, will you not take her sword?
Do you have opinions on it? Because I'd rather not use this cursed sword that we picked off of Lapalesi.
You killed her. It's your right to take it.
Then it's a trophy I shall. I'll pick up her blade.
One moment.
How does Gasmere look watching all of this?
Like she's carved from marble.
Wasn't that kill supposed to be yours?
Seems somebody else wanted it more.
I'm gonna hand the cursed sword back to you, Taldred.
Taldred says, leave with your major.
Fine. It cursed the officers before. I don't want it to curse anybody else again.
Brenner breaks ranks, presses himself up against this one standing tree. He keeps his head in his hands, kneeling down. Hand.
I'm gonna spread some of the fire from Samantha into Lapalesi, and then I'm gonna throw the sword on top of it.
You do so.
The cursed sword specifically. The hunger.
What's Brenner doing up here in the north?
Kneeling with his head in his hand, looking distraught, as much as that's visible through body language alone. Somewhat
Walk up
muttering
with
to
my
himself.
hand on his shoulder, his working shoulder.
Should have just fucking killed her when we had the chance. Look at this. What a hollow fucking kill. Meaningless.
Then let's give meaning to the world.
You see him stiffen up to that. Meaning. From ashes, then. So get up.
I'll help him up.
Thank you.
Forbes could still be in danger.
What's another one? Let's go.
The party is traveling somewhere.
Going to the front gates of the Temple of the Radiant Heart.
As you
What's
wish.
left of it.
Is anyone staying or tarrying?
No.
You arrive at the Temple of the Radiant Heart. This was clearly a battlefield. Smoke is flowing through the exposed front of the building.
Taldry calls out for Forbes.
He's in his office. It's sealed up.
I'd like to see if I recognize any of the corpses.
Yeah.
You do. You see Skylar. You see several Flaming Fist soldiers who you became familiar with during the brief Flaming Fist occupation. You may have fought some of them yourself. It appears that one of them died at Forbes' door.
Brenner will peer through the cooking hall and recall a much more pleasant interaction of eating bacon and cheese with his new friends.
What's there now is little more than destruction. A Black Dragon Knight died at the entrance to the galley. The banners are tattered, certainly deliberately. It looks like someone has slashed through them with a sword.
The
Move on.
statue, I think, of Helm, right? That's supposed to be in the middle of the temple. Is that intact?
Yes.
Hypocrites.
She'll do a kind of rhythmic knock at the door.
Kneel down and inspect this Flaming Fist soldier while she does that.
You hear a voice. Who's there?
It's me, Forbes.
I think I might like a bit more identification, just seeing how things seem to be going. Do you have a name?
Yes, it's Nothing Gold. Taldred's right behind me.
The door opens. Walter Forbes emerges with a large grin. Nothing Gold, Taldred Talton, and all of your friends and companions. How wonderful to see you here.
Walter, how are you okay?
He seems perfectly fine, no worse for wear. Euros, the Flaming Fist soldier outside of Forbes's office, seems to have been mutilated by something. There was a brutal battle here. Looking across from him, you see a bloody sword that seems to match the wounds on this soldier. It seems that this Black Dragon Knight and this Flaming Fist soldier dueled here and were able to kill each other. They both bled out here in the hallway. Walter Forbes's grin is a little uneasy.
Walter, did Roger Dale come through here?
Roll perception.
.24.
Walter tilts his head and looks at you past Nothing Gold, Ada. Mr. Dale has not come by yet, but could you please come into my office? I don't think that this area is fully safe quite yet. I'm very interested in finding out exactly what you know about what is going on. Please, come inside.
Taldred looks to everybody.
Affable as ever.
I'm gonna stay right here.
Doesn't it feel like just yesterday we were doing your onboarding here at the temple? Sometimes it's tough to keep a smile on your face.
Been walking all day. I will find a crate and sit on it.
You find a crate and sit on it. Walter Forbes steeples his hands. You said the lieutenant was coming with an army. I can't help but notice the army is not at your back. Where is everybody?
Who's everybody?
The butcher, Skylar.
Have you not heard the fighting outside?
I did. That's why I've been in here. In fact, is he coming in here? You're a Stenalian.
No, I'm staying here.
Well, I'd like to bar the door.
That's fine.
He raises an eyebrow at you, Taldred Talton.
Euros, he has a point. Maybe we should...
I'm gonna keep an eye out.
I mean, that's smart, I suppose. I mean, what's your barred door gonna do against an army, Forbes?
It's served me well enough so far.
Seems kind of strange.
My heart is still beating.
Forbes. The Purple Dragon Knights rebranded as the Black Dragon Knights under the Zentarum banner, via Samantha communing with Tyranny Fang. We witnessed this firsthand. We then fought her and attempted to kill her. Unsuccessfully, she rode up here and ransacked the city. And Rioros outside just killed her, while she killed Lapalesi. Your city lies in ruins, and we seek to kill Tyranny Fang.
He frowns.
I could not agree more. We tried our best to convince her to oppose the Zentarum, but in the end she did it for herself. I can't say I feel bad for her fate. And everything she did was completely pointless.
He rubs his temple.
Would you like any more details? We have plenty of details, but maybe we don't have time for it.
No. I don't want details.
Good.
Have you heard from Paul?
No. No, I haven't.
Forbes. When we go through that portal, you might likely be the only man standing in all of Arabel. Refugees have left to the east. What left of the militia forces have probably petered out. I hope your bunker's safe. Served you well.
He doesn't respond.
Forbes.
He looks past you at the wall.
We need to know about Roger Dale. You said he didn't
Can,
come
can we
here.
give him a minute?
He coughs, acclimating himself as the smoke starts to enter his office. He doesn't say anything.
Taldred will shuffle up the nothing gold and say, see if you can contact Roger, I guess.
She gives him the rock and says, "You do it."
Taldred looks at it like she just put a piece of shit in his hand. Like there's nothing more distasteful you could think of than talking to Roger Dale. Taldred uses the rock to try and message Roger Dale. Says, Roger, this is Taldred. Where the fuck are you?
You receive no response.
What about his halfling friends? Taldred tries her. No. What did I say? Halfling? I'm sorry, tiefling. Good God.
What's her name?
Sisophone? Something like that?
You reach out across the void to Tisiphone, Roger's diviner. You receive no response. You feel nothing but desolation. Forbes is cradling his head in his hands.
Okay, here comes Hail Mary time. Fuck. Roger has something on his person that Taldred knows about. It would be the key that he gave him. Taldred will cast Locate Object on that key.
Let me read the spell text for Locate Object. Give me 1 second.
I believe it works within 1,000 feet.
Correct.
You detect nothing.
Forbes, are you... And Taldred kind of catches himself. And so before, and then he stops himself and he comes back to Brenner and Ada, kind of tries to get like a powwow going on.
Yeah.
I can't reach Roger with the stone, nor can I find his key that he had on his person. But Forbes said he didn't come through here. Something doesn't add up.
The portal network was all through Cormir in its height. He could have taken another route.
Forbes
The crate
is looking for
missing.
something in his desk.
What were you going to say, Nothing Gold?
The crates are missing that Yoros put down.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think he probably just came through here surreptitiously.
You do observe that the barrels are missing. Forbes is still looking for something.
Or exhales, breaks party, and looks to Forbes as he's rustling through his desk. I sent my men to Eden Star. You might need to seek refuge there.
He finds what he was looking for. He looks up at you with a smile, Brenner, and says, "That won't be necessary. Brenner, may Helm watch over you." He places a crossbow at the base of his neck and fires. The bolt flies up through the top of his head.
Brenner will not try to stop him.
He slumps back in his chair.
This day is exhausting.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Everything that's happened today has been completely meaningless and pointless.
As you say this, you realize that Walter is still smiling. His blood is audibly dripping onto the tile floor.
Talder is like laying him down so he's neatly on the floor, puts his arms over.
Let's take him out to the courtyard.
I
Yeah.
think he would want to be here.
He spent his whole goddamn life in this office, probably.
It
I'm at
smells.
a loss for word. We should go. Brenner fumbles, kind of haphazardly with his left arm into his right pocket, producing the portal network key. Starts to twist it around in his hand. That's why we're here.
There's nothing left to fight for. We might as well.
There's still plenty left to fight for.
Say your words again, Ada. Give it some fucking meaning. So he steps straight towards the portal.
Call out Yoros.
Say that last part.
Nothing gold.
Brenner is key in hand walking towards the portal.
There is, helpfully, one receptacle for your key.
He inserts it, turning it, assuming that's how it works.
You do so. The portal instantly roars to life. Forbes' office is illuminated by a blue glow. You sense that this thing could be walked through. It is as you see it, swirling blue light.
Talder says, I'll go first.
It's one way. Let's make this fucking count.
Talder steps through.
Brenner steps in behind him.
You do so.
Step in third.
Casimir follows Adam.
You do so.
Nothing gold, are you coming?
She's like vomiting in this corner and she says, "What?
We gotta go. Come on.
Now?
Yes. Hold it in for a second.
Fuck."
Stepping through,
Yes, sir.
you do so. And we end the session.
That was a fucking good session.
Thanks.
I'm hot. I have been for like an hour.
That's a really... I just don't want to underscore the fact that, like, that's such a really good example of how well you can place tone and emphasis on that without combat. And how upset that can make you feel.
If you wanted a battle, there wasn't one. Can everybody play next week?
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
Aren't we done?
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
Somebody has to pay for this.
We stepped through.
Now we have to find out what's on the other side.
It's a shoe store.
It's a one-way trip. Can't wait to kill Tyranny and lose to stupid Roger Dale.
Me too.
I don't know which I would be more displeased about, letting Roger step in or everyone dying and Tyranny still keep going.
I know which one I would prefer.
I bet.
But you didn't want our conspicuous ultimate campaign of kill Roger Day.
That's what the next one's gonna be called.
He's so ridiculous.
It's the M Night.
I like Roger. It's probably my favorite NPC.
Oh, I like him as a player, but I was told that Taldred hates him, so I am all in on hating Roger Dale.
We just killed my favorite NPC.
No, to be fair, yeah, Samantha's fucking up there too.
I'm sorry. Did you want to do it?
No, I don't want. No.
He would not. Brenner would never have killed her in that manner. He would never have stabbed her in the back. That's number one in the Oswald Creek. If it's not in combat, he's not doing it.
Well, you got a new sword, Yoros. Congrats.
I mean, how cracked is it? I didn't even look at.
Oh yeah, is it
It's pretty
good?
cracked. Yeah, it's on my sheet.
Brenner would just absolutely never hold another holy sword in his hand.
Don't bother me. Weapon's a weapon. You gotta make do with what you have. Such as the scout's life.
+4 longsword Vorpal.
Hell yeah, brother.
Pretty strong.
I guess it makes up for not having that.
I guess.
Who knows? Euros might find a new source of power once we get to Zenthal Keep.
Or I just revert back to a different class.
I think that would have
Reclassing?
been.
Outrageous.
I know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say his cursed armor's still on him, so.
It is.
Still smelly.
It smells fine.
Did you
I know
ever-
he thinks that.
Did you ever sniff me? Did you?
Didn't have to.
You're just implying. You're implying I smell without actually doing a check to confirm it. Because you didn't confirm the smell, he doesn't smell.
Euros, did you see, Ian, did you see who was the Flaming Fist Alchemist? Did you see?
Oh, is that my character?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I didn't get a chance to look at him.
It all happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, because, was he in the first gate area?
He was.
Oh, so that's
Okay.
who that was down there where the execution platform was?
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Everybody wanted to move on pretty quickly, so I didn't get a chance to do anything.
I mean, I really wanted to interact with the maps 100%, but just given context that there's no point. There's no reason to go, like, ruffling around through things.
Yeah,
Just walk through and be sad.
that represented like 15 hours of map making, I could tell. Just for the ambience.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to take a little more time with it. But that's just me. I always like to poke and prod.
Poor Liesel.
Poor Liesel, man.
No, nothing but destruction this session.
Ah, man, I wish we stopped for the alchemist. That would have been fun. He's such a nice guy.
Well, to be fair, I did guide us away. Did you expect us to kill Samantha like this?
No.
Really?
Yes. Yes. She even has she has many pithy lines, right? And you like pithy lines?
Not from her anymore.
Yes,
To be fair, she did give the order to slaughter like all the flaming fists that Yoros still cares about.
How about the civilians?
And
Me,
the
me,
villains.
person, 100% behind you. Killer, dead,
Oh,
horrible
yeah, yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Just
Well, except what greater punishment than to continue to live in this world that she made?
I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true.
To Yoros, justice was served, and that's his creed.
Yeah, you made us walk through a mile of her war crimes. Then you're like, don't you want to have a chat with her?
No.
We had time for it. There was a time for a talk. All right, there was a time for talking, and
Yeah,
it
remember,
was
Yoros is
it was like
impulsive.
300 civilians ago.
Certainly, I do not condemn any actions. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's perfectly fine. Like, you know, it's not like it's not like we were in session 1 and you said, okay, I attack Forbes while he's explaining. You know what I mean? Like that would be a little bit off. This was perfectly reasonable and well within the confines of the game.
I thought the transgression I got at the gate for killing the wounded soldier was completely appropriate, because I knew he was the paladin I clashed with earlier the morning before.
He was familiar to you, and
Yeah.
he was Forbes' brother.
none of us ever knew that because we literally didn't have a conversation outside of a vitriolic argument. Which I
Correct.
thought was extremely fun. But that's also why Brenner looked back to Ada. It's like, that's your across the...
Funny coincidence that he had the same name as Forbes.
Also,
No, I
the,
kind of suspected they were related, but there was
the
no
interns
chance to
who were
actually talk to him.
knocking boots in my office. One of them's last name was Dale, and he was also a dick.
There
It's in
were
the family.
a few funny details, and actually, Ridley, I think you speculated about that during the initial encounter at the gate. You mentioned that it was like right before we went to break. You mentioned that you noticed that these characters had the same last name, and we talked about it across the table, but it was a little bit too tense in character for it to ever come up, I think.
He's so unlike his brother.
I mean, literally.
Is he?
No.
Yeah. He was also the guy at the gate who crashed the palace.
Correct.
That's true, yeah.
He's just a gate crasher.
I say that insofar as my read onto it is that both Forbes and his lieutenant both believed a lot into what they did. There's a reason Forbes did what he did at the end of the session. They're both extremely convicted men. Just different paths.
I actually knew he was looking for the gun, but my character wouldn't have stopped that from happening, so I'm just like, that's gonna happen.
If Brenner didn't have the interaction with the horse earlier today, he probably would have tried to stop him.
Even if we raised him, he would just do it again.
Yeah.
That's torture.
It is. Yes, I agree.
Besides,
roughly
if
ballpark,
somebody
how many
wanted to
transgression?
die, I don't think you can bring them back, so... Sorry, what?
Okay, first, I was making a half-hearted joke of lightly ballpark. How many transgressions is that?
I don't know, but I'm winning.
You must be at this point.
Dude, I'm a gamer. Let's go.
Alright, first of all, so looting at a party.
That,
Thanks.
I wanted to ask about that. I wanted to be like, the world's going to shit. Why are you at a party? But then I got distracted by a massive army that felt more pertinent in the moment.
This was a densely paced session, and there was a lot of information out there, and I struggled a lot when doing reads on this to make sure that A, it made sense, there weren't too many threads, and B, that you were able to kind of keep up with, the set pieces that were being thrust in front of you.
I 100% thought that when you were communing to Salute, instantly I was like, oh, Ruby's contacting him in the middle of this, just like interrupting your call. I didn't catch Laren's name offhand. I'm not the Wikipedia page that David.
It's heavily implied that she will become Mr. One Day in the books.
Oh.
Well, I mean, Taldred's also now like the High Priest of Cyric, so that's
He
an
is
option
not.
too.
He is 100% not.
High Priest of
Can't be.
Cyric, High Priest of Saloon, leader of Team T.
He's a go-getter. I don't know what to tell you.
Team
Aldred
T
is
sounds like a
God.
drug.
Nice.
I like TT or T squared.
What was the deal with the shattered statue outside the jail? Because we never really got the full lore behind that.
Well, I think you did. I think that what you were shown there. So let's talk about why. What was Ariadne's role in the game? What was the purpose of this character? So you met her very early on, and she was loyal to something inanimate and inert, right? It's literally just a statue. So why does she care? Why is she there guarding it? What's the purpose of any of this? Well, it's meant to evoke and anchor this idea of there's people involved in this who are really, loyal to ideas and really loyal to this idea of their country, and they would die for something larger. And she was meant to be, and this is from a across the table game design perspective, not an in character perspective, but from a game design perspective, she exists to show you that these are zealots. These are people who really believe in something, will die for what they believe in.
Yeah, I took her and the statue to be symbolic of like the shattering of Cormyr as a nation.
That's exactly what I'm going for.
Yeah, I imagine the Black Dragon Knights rolled up and they're trying to remake Cormyr into Zentaran land. So they crucify somebody who would yell Cormyr forever no matter what.
Yeah, I think it's about Samantha like lying to herself. She says everything she does is to make Cormyr whole again. But towards the end, it's just it's a Walter White thing where it's just about the power. It's just about the fuel of the power.
Yeah, I guess my read is that I think she felt abandoned by everything. So at that point, nothing did matter, not even her country. Like, she said at the end, like, I remain, but nothing else.
Yeah, her legacy remains or something like that.
No, not even that, just I remain.
That's what she said.
Her last
I like-
words. Go ahead.
I like that Spanbauer was obviously unhappy with the direction she was taking it and repeated Cormyr forever on his way out.
Yeah, and the Temple of Sirik, he was clearly not okay with what was happening.
Brenner respected Spanbauer a lot. He is, in a lot of ways, a reflection of himself. He's an old, aged military man with a big conviction toward shit, led astray by dumb, fucking religious nonsense zealotry. This religious nonsense zealotry just happened to be somebody walking the earth this time.
But you hated him when you first saw him, as you were supposed to, because he was yelling
Yeah.
about his fucking horse, and he was drinking, and he was out of hand, and he was unsympathetic, and then eventually he was very sympathetic.
100%, yeah.
One of
What
the
if-
go ahead.
What if when Samantha died, it wasn't her talking through her lips, it was tyranny? I remain.
I don't
That'd be
like
interesting.
that read.
For a second there, I thought fucking Walt Ford was gonna be Tyranny or something. I was like, how is he so fucking upbeat right now? Like, and I assume it was some kind of weird denial thing. Is all I can read off of that.
I was, I'm gonna say, painting the episode with, if your character dies, X happens, that also had me extremely on edge around before. I was like, let's not all just jump into the room. Brenner would in this scenario, but this seems bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you all next Friday.
Hell yeah, brother.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.